Hello, good afternoon. I, Tejasvi Rana, on behalf of International Society of Waste Management, Air and Water, and other organizers, organizing partners, and sponsors, welcome all delegates to this special session featuring paper from Philippines. It's an honor to cordially invite Professor Albert N. Naperi, President of Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Philippines, to kindly chair the session. There are two disastrous typhoons in the last couple of weeks in Philippines, for which we are deeply concerned. I like to remind a few points to all present here. Participants are requested to mute microphone and close your camera. Speakers may be unmuted when requested. Please adhere to the timeline to avoid delay. Presentation for a speaker is 10 minutes and keynote speech 15 minutes. Question answer session will be at the end of session. Questions should be written in the chat box to a specific speaker. The chair individually will rate each presentation on the rating sheet provided to you. Chair kindly write the chair's summary of the session with a few key outcomes and present at the end of the session. Filled in rating sheet and chair summary will be sent to us by email. I request all the presenters to kindly confirm their attendance in the chat box. Please make a note, I repeat, all the presenters kindly confirm your attendance in the chat box. Now I would like to request Dr. Naperi to chair the session. Sir, unmute your microphone and open your camera and start the session, please.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Philippines. Good morning, India, and good day to the rest of the world. Today, on behalf of the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, we are hosting the special session for the Philippines in the 10th International Conference on Solid Waste Management Towards Circular Economy. As an agricultural university in this part of the country, we are committed to pursue quality education for sustainable human development. That is why our university is very delighted when the International Organization for Solid Waste Management Air Water, through the able leadership of the chair and president, Professor Sadhaku Margos, named our university as one of their partners, and this makes our involvement and awareness in waste management become more strong towards the attainment of circular economy. But before this partnership with Professor Go's organization, we have been involved to several activities and projects championing waste management disposal and reduction, and even advocating reduce, reuse, and recycle. In fact, the university had established the Environment Management Office that was now devolved to be a resilient center to strengthen our program towards waste management, more focused on agricultural waste productivity. Likewise, the university is advocating the promotion of organic agriculture as the organic center. We had it intensifying the production of agricultural waste into byproduct to lower the cost of farm inputs and increase harvest and production with a more sustainable farming technology, thus obtaining the balance of ecology. It is therefore our pride to provide you some of our research output that has something to do with agricultural waste utilization, disaster preparedness towards circular economy. To the entire participant in this special session for the Philippines, welcome to this activity, and may the good Lord give us unending blessings despite of the pandemic we are facing today. Good luck to all the presenters, and my congratulations to the organizers and to everybody in this forum.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to request Dr. Joany Alyssa B. Abogado to please make the presentation. Please unmute and open the PPT and share the screen. Please start, and your allotted time is 10 minutes.
Good day, everyone. My name is Joany Alyssa B. Abogado, and I am with my co-researcher, Ms. April Ann A. Cañal, and we are from Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Sipocot, Philippines. And we are here to present a research study entitled Mycelial Growth Performance of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea in Common Kitchen Waste. To start, mushrooms are heterotrophic organisms that depend on the degrading lignocellulosic materials to support their nutrition. It is considered as functional food and nutraceuticals since it contains carbohydrate, fiber, protein, fats, vitamins, minerals, and nucleic acid according to Ramirez et al. 2009. Additionally, it contains antifungal, antibacterial, antioxidant, and antiviral property as cited by Bellere et al. 2010. Moreover, mushrooms have the ability to transform nutritionally useless waste into highly acceptable nutritious food. It involves physical and manual labor that creates employment opportunities for the laborers and marginal section of the community. Two of the most cultivated mushrooms in the world are first is the pleurotusostreatus or sideways oyster, also termed too as paddy straw, and these are the common mushroom species that is being cultivated throughout the world and thrives at tropical and subtropical countries. However, mushroom cultivation is limited, especially here in the Philippines. This is because there are necessary tools, apparatus, and media needed in cultivating such fungi. The common medium for the cultivation of the mushroom is the potato dextrose agar, which is too expensive for the small-time mushroom growers, wherein in every 500 grams of the PDA, it costs $90, or if we can convert it in Philippine peso, it costs 4,500 pesos, which is really costly. As this study aimed to develop alternative culture media out of kitchen waste such as matured coconut water, rice wash, and corn decoction. Coconut water, rice wash, and corn decoction are waste from households that emit substances of eutrophication which contributes to environmental problems. Thus, this study aimed to determine the mycelial performance of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea among coconut water, rice wash, and corn decoction media. Second is to evaluate the significant difference of mycelial growth of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea among mature rice wash, and corn decoction. For the methodology, agar blocks are collected from the pure stock culture of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea from the culture collection of Agro-Industrial Research Building of CBSUA Sipocot. For the preparation of media and inoculation of test mushroom, 1 liter of matured coconut water and 1 liter of rice wash were added separately with 10 grams of white table sugar and 20 grams of white gulaman bar, and boiled until homogeneous mixture was attained. 1 kilogram of corn was boiled for 30 minutes in 1 liter of tap water. After the corn decoction is filtered, 10 grams of white table sugar and 20 grams of white gulaman bar were added and boiled until the solution homogenized. Each solution was volumed up to attain 1 liter of solution, then dispensed in an Erlenmeyer flask plugged with cotton and secured with aluminum foil. Prior to sterilization process, 0.1 m of sodium hydroxide or 0.1 hydrochloric acid was used to adjust the pH of the media of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea into pH 8. Since the favorable pH for the growth of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea is at pH 8. Then, the prepared media of pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea were placed in an autoclave for sterilization process at 15 psi for 121 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. For the inoculation of test mushroom, the newly sterilized media were allowed to cool and solidify. Subsequently, using a 5 mm cork borer, 7-day-old 5 mm mycelial block was inoculated at the center of the newly solidified media. Each media were sealed with cling wrap. For the incubation of test media, the newly inoculated test media were placed in an incubation chamber under room temperature. The chamber was covered with black plastic since pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea grows luxuriantly at dark conditions, according to Root et al. 2015 and Kalau et al. 2016. For the continuation, may I call in now my research partner, Ms. April Ann A. Cañal, to discuss the result of the study.
Good day, everyone. I am April Ann A. Cañal, and I am here to discuss the result of our research study. Shown on the figure is the mycelial density of pleurotusostreatus, in which after 8 days of incubation, matured coconut water was fully ramified with a very thick mycelial density. Moreover, rice wash media was fully colonized within 6 days of incubation with thick mycelial run, and lastly, corn decoction was colonized within 7 days with very thick mycelial growth. Elucidated in this graph was the daily mycelial growth performance in millimeter of pleurotusostreatus in common kitchen waste in terms of radius. On the first day, rice wash elucidated the highest mycelial growth of 2 mm, while corn decoction showed 1.75 mm, which is longer to 0.70 mm of matured coconut water. On the second day, rice wash revealed 8.67 mm and 8.33 mm for corn decoction that was higher to 2.58 mm growth of matured coconut water. While on the third day, mycelial run were recorded with 17.58 mm, 16 mm for rice wash and corn decoction respectively, and 8.67 mm on matured coconut water. Furthermore, pleurotusostreatus fully colonized the rice wash media after 6 days, which is faster than corn decoction that takes 7 days to be fully ramified, and followed by matured coconut water after 8 days of incubation. For the volvariellavolvacea, matured coconut water and corn decoction was fully colonized after 4 days of incubation with thick mycelial density. However, mycelial growth of volvariellavolvacea in rice wash media was
Extremely sorry to interrupt this wonderful presentation, but
shown
you
in
have
this
to
figure is the
wrap up
daily
kindly.
growth performance of volvariellavolvacea in common kitchen waste in terms of radius. On day 1, in terms of volvariellavolvacea mycelial growth, rice wash showed 2 mm growth, which was longer than corn decoction and matured coconut water with 1.70 mm and 1.67 mm respectively. On the second day, rice wash revealed 20.42 mm mycelial growth, which was longer to 10.58 mm of corn decoction and 12.83 mm of matured coconut water. Additionally, on the third day, rice wash the media with 42.50 mm mycelial growth, which is significantly longer as compared to 28.92 mm of corn decoction and 32.42 mm of matured coconut water. Conclusion, rice wash is an ideal media for pleurotusostreatus and volvariellavolvacea. Then there is no significant difference among the evaluated medias after 6 days of incubation for pleurotusostreatus. Rice wash is not significantly different than matured coconut water and corn decoction after 3 days of incubation for volvariellavolvacea. That's all. Thank you.
Thank for your very nice presentation. Please mute the microphone and unshare the screen. I now request Dr. Ramona Isabel S. Ramirez to please make the presentation. Please unmute and open the PPT and share the screen. Please start, and your time allotted is 10 minutes.
Good day, everyone. I am Ramona S. Ramirez from the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Philippines. I am happy to share with you my presentation entitled Advocating Circular Economy, Pili Canariumovatum, Pulp Oil Isolation as IGP for Pili Processing Households in Bicol Region, Philippines. This presentation will convey to you a very important message, and that is Pili pulp oil isolation can be an IGP for Pili processing households who are producing certain quantities of Pili pulp as a waste material. The objectives of this presentation is to discuss how the oil content of the pulp can be isolated, share ideas on how the oil can be processed into value-added products, and recommend entrepreneurial initiatives that may lead to ITP on Pili oil. The household-based Pili pulp oil isolation method is based from my completed research entitled Pili pulp oil isolation from Bicol Pili varieties. The innovation conceptualized from the existing Pili pulp oil isolation methods are simplified for Pili processing households. The method is used to investigate on the comparative yield of Bicol Pili varieties and will be introduced as an alternative method of oil isolation. May I share to you, my dear friends, the research highlights and the technology generated. Based on my research, there are at least 3 existing Pili pulp oil isolation methods. The first is the traditional method, which is commonly employed by Pili processing households, and this method includes pulping, pressing, and extracting, and then cooking. This is basically how the process is being done. The next method is the DUST method, introduced by the Department of Science and Technology. This is composed of simple cooking and filtration tools that process oil extracts from freshly harvested Pili nuts using minimal heat. And the last method is enzymatic extraction. This involves 3 operations: pretreatment, extraction or oil release, and then oil recovery. It is characterized by an aqueous extraction that involves mechanical and enzymatic degradation of the cell walls of the oil containing the material. In this presentation, the oil containing the material is the Pili pulp. Based on the features of the 3 existing methods of oil isolation, I was able to develop an innovative or alternative Pili pulp oil isolation method, which I call RAMPOIL or Ramirez pulp oil isolation method. This method consists of 3 major processes: the extraction and fractionation, isolation, and oil recovery. The extraction and fractionation consists of sub-processes that starts from fruit soaking at a temperature of 50 to 60 degrees Celsius, peeling and pulping to separate the pulp from the nut, mechanized mixing using blender or similar material, pressing and filtration to separate the extract from the pulp or the fibers, scooping or separation of the oil layer, and decantation to separate the oil and water component of mixture and settle the suspended solid. One important feature of this innovative method is the introduction of a fermentation for 1 to 2 days, which is being employed after the mechanized mixing and then after pressing and filtration. The purpose of the fermentation for 1 to 2 days is to maximize the oozing of the oil that are embedded in the network of the pulp fibers, to maximize the oil yield. The extraction and fractionation process is followed by oil isolation, which involves only the evaporation process. And then afterwards, on the oil recovery, we do the oil measurement and oil storage. In this picture, you will see the actual process, the actual conduct of the processes involved in the innovative method until the oil was isolated from the Philippines. My dear friends, may I introduce to you the Bicol Pili varieties which are used in testing for the effectivity of the innovative method. In Bicol region, Philippines, there are at least 6 Canariumovatum varieties that were certified by the Department of Agriculture, and it includes Orbace, Magayon, Lysa, Magnaye, Mayon, and Lanisa. My dear friends, in this table you will see the properties and attributes of the different ovarium varieties in the Bicol region. As you can see, there are differences in the nature of the pulp. There are also observed differences in the average fruit mass, as well as in the color and shape. But the test for significant difference on the average fruit mass indicated that these different Bicol varieties are not significantly different in terms of its average fruit mass. Generated also from the research that I conducted are the data in this table on the oil yield of the pulp from the samples of the Bicol Pili varieties. Using the innovative method, I was able to determine the average percent oil yield of the different varieties, and the data revealed that Lysa has the greatest potential of being a source of Pili pulp oil, and this is followed by Magnaye. Lysa having an average percent yield of 3.72%.
Excuse me, Professor, you have 2 more minutes to complete your presentation. Please.
Let me share to you now some Pili pulp oil value adding and entrepreneurial initiatives that we can do. My dear friends, the isolated oil may be bottled and sold. Based on my survey, a small bottle of at least 50 ml may cost 200 pesos, that is the cheapest. This oil is commercially viable because Pili oil has many uses, such as it can be used to moisturize your skin, and it can also be a material in certain products. Pili pulp oil may be processed into products such as wellness oil to be used in spa as a moisturizer, or it can be made into a soap or even just a topical for wounds and skin allergies. Based on my completed research entitled Wellness Oil from Pili Pulp Oil and Selected Medicinal Plants, the Pili Pulp oil value may be added by soaking medicinal plants in pure Pili oil. It can be used as massage oil, a remedy for skin diseases, and many others, depending on the utility of the medicinal plant. I would like to recommend the following, my dear friends. 1. You can use garlic, peel it, and grind it, and soak it in 200 ml of Pili pulp oil. It can be used as a massage oil to relieve body pain that was caused by cold, cough, and fever. You can also use ginger, peel it and chop, soak it in at least 200 ml Pili pulp oil. You can use that as a massage oil to relieve pain due to rheumatism and inflamed veins. Citronella leaves and stem can also be chopped finely, soak it in Pili oil to be used as an insect repellent. 50 grams of dried vetiver roots or leaves soak it in 200 ml Pili pulp oil. We can use it as an aromatic oil to relieve stress and make us relax. 50 grams of partially dried citrus peels, finely chopped. When soaked in 200 ml Pili pulp oil, we can use it also as an aromatic oil to relieve our stress. It can also be a skin massage for its rejuvenation. 50 grams partially dried guava leaves, chop it finely, soak it in 200 ml of Pili pulp oil. We
Excuse
can
me.
use it to treat
Professor, your allotted time is already over. Please conclude it.
My dear friends, we can also use other medicinal plants. The
Okay. Okay. I now request Dr. Valenzuela Flordeliza B to please make the presentation. Please unmute, open the PPT and share the screen. Please start and your allotted time is 10 minutes.
Good day. May I present to you our research entitled Mycelial Growth Performance of Paddy straw mushroom volvariellavolvacea in banana waste media. So why do we have to conduct this research and what is the main purpose of this research? To answer those questions, let me start with mushroom cultivation. So mushroom cultivation is a very reliable and profitable option to alleviate hunger and malnutrition in the world. Various regions cultivate mushroom to provide food, nutrients, medicine, generate income, and helps to clean the environment. To be more specific, paddy straw mushroom or Volvariella volvacea is the third most common cultivated mushroom in the world. Mushroom cultivation always starts with culture media. The culture media is a material that being utilized to provide nutrients for microorganisms, specifically fungi. And one of the most common materials that is being utilized in mushroom cultivation is the potato dextrose agar or the PDA. However, it is expensive for our local farmers. On the other hand, Saba banana produced 39% total production and 9.4 ton per hectare per year. Also, it has a high nutritional value and economic value. However, a huge amount of Saba banana production contributes a huge agricultural waste also, such as banana sugar stem, banana peel, and banana leaves. With this study aims to convert agricultural waste into a culture media for paddy straw mushroom production. In, in terms of media preparation, BP stands for banana peel, BL in banana leaves, BPS in banana sugar stem, and CW or the coconut water is the control. Banana peel, banana leaves, and banana sugar stem were decocted in a 1 liter of tap water and was placed in a Erlenmeyer flask. Then 10 grams of table sugar. Prior to sterilization, the pH level of each concentration were adjusted into 8 since according to Rez et al. 1998 that paddy straw mushroom grows luxuriantly at pH 8. Then, subsequently, it was autoclaved for 20 minutes at 121 degrees Celsius at 15 psi. Then concentration were placed in a sterilized Petri plate. Then, using a sterilized cork borer, 10 of mycelial block were inoculated at the center of Petri plates. Then after that, it was incubated at a dark condition. Based from the data gathered, the average temperature for the volvariellavolvacea in banana waste media is at 28.6 degrees Celsius and a relative humidity of 74.8%. For the mycelial growth increment of volvariellavolvacea in banana waste media for 50%, this table shows that the banana leaves performs the fastest mycelial increment, followed by the banana pseudostem, and lastly with banana peel. In terms of mycelial density, the banana peel performs the thickest mycelial density, followed by the banana leaves and banana pseudostem. For the 100% concentration, the coconut water performs the fastest mycelial increment, followed by the banana peel, and lastly by banana pseudostem. In terms of mycelial density, banana peel performs the thickest, followed by the coconut water, banana leaves, and banana pseudostem. In terms of mycelial density, the banana peel performs the thickest, followed by the coconut water, banana leaves, lastly of the banana pseudostem. In terms of number of incubation of volvariellavolvacea in banana waste media, the table shows that the banana leaves performs the shortest period of incubation of 3 days, followed by the banana peel and banana pseudostem with 5 days, and it is found to be not significant. For the 100% banana waste media, the coconut water performs the shortest with 3 days, followed by the banana leaves with 4 days, banana peel with 5 days, and by the banana pseudostem with 11 days, and is it found to be not significant. For the conclusion, the ideal culture media is based to the number of incubation. The shorter the period of incubation, the better, since it hastens the production. The banana leaves, 50% and 100%, performs the shortest period of incubation, and it is concluded as the ideal for paddy straw mushroom in banana waste media. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Please mute, and I will now call the next presenter, Miss Cecilia Ross Patian. Ma'am, please unmute and make your presentation.
I will present to you the research entitled Disaster Risk Reduction Management, Awareness and Preparedness of the Selected Public Secondary Schools in Ginobatan, Albay, a research by Cecilia Rosa L. Pacham and Nika Joy Iscalo from Bicol University College of Agriculture and Forestry and Central Bicol State University of Agri. The study has 4 objectives. Specifically, it determines the personal profile of the respondents with respect to age, sex, educational attainment, seminars, drills, trainings, and other related activities attended by the principals, teaching and non-teaching personnel, and grade 10 students. Second is to identify disasters encountered by the respondents. Third, establish the level of the awareness and preparedness of disaster risk reduction management of the respondents. And the last one is test the DRRM awareness and preparedness dependency to the personal profile of the respondents. The study utilized a descriptive quantitative method of research to determine the level of awareness and preparedness of principals, teachers, non-teaching personnel, and grade 10 students on disaster risk reduction and management, and determine if it is dependent to their personal profile. There is 574 total number of respondents. In order to determine the number of respondents, the researchers used the Sloven's formula with 0.05 confidence level. For the research instrument, the researchers used a structured questionnaire which was divided into 4 parts. First part is the personal profile of respondents. Second part are the disasters they encountered. Third part is the rating scale for disaster risk reduction management awareness. And last part is the rating scale for disaster risk reduction management preparedness. To ensure the validity and reliability of the research instrument, a pilot testing of the questionnaire was administered on the Pariyaan National High School, Camalig Albay. And based on the analysis of the pilot testing, the researcher made corrections, adjustments, and additions to the research instrument. Under statistical treatment, the responses of teachers, non-teaching personnel, and grade 10 students were statistically analyzed with the required data of the study. Descriptive statistics such as Sloven's formula, frequency count, percentage, weighted mean, and chi-square were utilized and able to address the objectives of the study. Utilizing the statistical treatment, the salient findings were gathered. With an age ranging from 23 to 27 to 58 to 62 are aware or tend to be well informed and have adequate knowledge on disaster risk reduction management. Whereas the respondents with an age of 13 to 17 and 18 to 22 are slightly aware. It can be gleaned that adults or school personnel are much aware than students and young adults. For Table 2, with a mean of 2.56, male respondents are aware than female respondents, which are slightly aware, cited by 2.49. This takes for the conclusion that male being viewed as concerned for security and protection are more involved on social responsibilities on disaster risk reduction, which is unfavorable to female. On Table 3, on the level of awareness based on educational attainment, it can be seen that the level of the high school graduate has the lowest level of awareness with a mean of 2.3, rated as slightly aware. While the high school undergraduate level of awareness has a mean of 2.6, rated as aware. It implies that those who continue schooling can still acquire knowledge and exercise skills from the activities conducted to their school than those who stop. On Table 4, level of awareness in relation to the number of activity of DRRM attended, the highest mean of 4 was gained from respondent with 11 disaster risk reduction management related activities, which is described as highly aware, while the lowest mean of 2.13 was gained from respondents that have attended 2 disaster risk reduction related activities, which were described as slightly aware. It can be observed that the awareness level of 0 to 5 attended disaster risk reduction related activities were inconsistent. For Table 5, level of DRRM awareness of respondents, results showed that with a grand mean of 2.52, the selected public secondary schools in Ginobatan, Albay are aware on disaster risk reduction management. This means that they are well informed and have adequate knowledge on disaster risk reduction. Though results show that they are aware, they still lack awareness on hazard map, coordination with local disaster risk reduction council, emergency groups, updated emergency hotline, contingency plan, and recovery and rehabilitation interventions. These areas are the weakness of schools which should be given attention. Fairness of respondents based on age, with a mean of 3.08 being the highest form of age range of 38 to 42 and 2.13 being the lowest from the age range of 48 to 52. It can be seen that there is an inconsistent result of preparedness. Age of respondents does not affect their level of preparedness. On Table 7, preparedness in relation to sex, both sexes are prepared on disaster risk reduction management. This takes for the understanding that the activities and program presented were administered, conducted, and practiced to both male and female respondents. Table 8, level of preparedness in relation to educational attainment. The highest weighted mean is 3.03 gained from those who earned doctorate units, and the lowest is 2 gained from high school graduate. This means that all the respondents are prepared. For Table 10, level of preparedness of respondents in Ginubatal Albay, the findings on the levels of disaster risk reduction management preparedness of each public secondary high school were presented in Table 10.
Excuse me, Professor.
So that one
Your
school
allotted
has
time is already over. Please try to continue.
which is slightly prepared. DNHS is a school located at the far flung barangay, making it inaccessible for possible support. The rest of the school which garner a mean of ranging from 2.5 to 3.25 are aware. These schools are in areas near to needed resources. Hence, access to practicable resource may affect the preparedness of school. In general, public secondary schools are prepared, but the result in several indicators display that schools are slightly prepared on equipment and resources. Of the level of awareness of the preparedness of respondents to their personal profile, salient findings are presented. In the test of dependency of awareness in relation to age, the computed value derived from computing the chi-square test. Since the computed value of 13.116 was lower than the tabulated value of 14.113, statistical results show that awareness was not dependent on age. While in the test of dependency for preparedness in relation to age, results showed that the computed value as cited by 11.216 is lower than the tabulated value 40.113. This means that the preparedness was not dependent on age. In the test of dependency on awareness in relation to sex, the result of 2.05 was lower than the tabulated value of 7.815. Thus, sex does not affect the awareness of the respondent. The disposition of male and female does not contribute to their knowledge on disaster risk reduction management. In the test of dependency on preparedness in relation to sex, the results showed that the computed value of 0.56 was lower than the tabulated value of 7.815, which means that preparedness on disaster risk reduction was not dependent on sex. In the test of dependency on awareness in relation to educational attainment, it revealed that the computed value of 34.239 was higher than the tabulated value of 28.869. This means that the educational attainment of individuals can affect their awareness on disaster risk reduction. While in the test of dependency on preparedness in relation to educational attainment, it was shown that the computed value of 18.880 was lower than the tabulated value of
Excuse me, Professor.
28.69.
Allotted time is already over.
I
Please
feel
try
that
to conclude.
educational attainment has no effect on preparedness. The computed value as cited by 32.863 was lower than the tabulated value cited by 50.998. This means that the awareness is not dependent on the number of disaster risk reduction management related activities attended by the respondents. While the computed value cited by 46.323 was lower than the tabulated value of 50.998, it takes for the understanding that the attended disaster risk reduction management activities does not affect preparedness. In conclusion, the disaster risk reduction management awareness and preparedness in relation to the personal profile of respondents revealed that educational attainment affects individuals' disaster risk reduction awareness. It was therefore concluded that being aware does not necessarily mean of being prepared. There are intrinsic and extrinsic factors to consider to strengthen disaster risk reduction awareness and preparedness. Intrinsic factors were the willingness of individuals to participate in reducing vulnerability and their
Thank you, Madam Patyam. And may I now call the next presenter, Mr. James Carlos Frias, and to be followed by the last presenter, Professor Dr. Atibo. Mr. James Frias, please present now your PPT. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am here to present to you our research entitled Antifungal Activity of Fruits, Leaves, and Seeds Extract of Sabapentandra against Colatrichum cocodes. I am James Carlo P. Frias, your presenter from Central Bicol State University of Agriculture, Sicoco. According to Food and Agriculture Organization 2014, tomato or Solanum lycopersicum is a common food served on Filipino table and generally consumed raw or as component of salad, hard dishes, and beverages. It is also canned whole, dried, and even processed into paste and sauces. Tomatoes are sufficient in sustaining the needs of Filipino consumers as it favors temperature ranging from 21 to 24 degrees Celsius and well-drained soil rich in organic matter with pH ranging from 5.5 to 8, according to Tabun et al. 2017. However, various agricultural problems arises in agricultural management, and it carried to deteriorate good profit and production of tomato. Example of that is the inappropriate post-harvest management. Tomatoes are also vulnerable to fungal diseases. These diseases might include the Alternaria solani and the most common, the Colatrichum cocodes or the tomato anthracnose. According to NETSI 2020, these diseases can be addressed by spraying fungicide. However, inorganic fungicides that are available in locality possess high price and detrimental hazard to farmers and ecological balance of farming community. That's why we look for plants that potentially manifest antifungal activity. The Sabapentandra or the silk cotton tree contains antimicrobial activity according to Parulicar 2017. And since it is abundant to Southeast Asia, including Philippines, then we used to study its antifungal activity against tomato anthracnose or Colatrichum cocodes. Here is our research objectives. First, determine the level of effectiveness of seeds, fruits, and leaves extract of silk cotton tree. Second, evaluate the effectiveness of an extract at 20% and 30% concentration against tomato anthracnose. And third, determine the significant difference in the level of effectiveness of antimicrobial activity of an extract among concentration and period of observation. I am going to show you our research methodology. Part of the diseased tomato were taken into laboratory to prepare the mixed culture. Then after 5 to 7 days of ramification, we prepare the pure culture and look for the morphological identification as pattern to the study of Stoyanova et al. 2013. Morphological identification observed are the microsclerotia, the conidia spores, and the acerbuli. Then, cultivation of Colatotrichum cocodes broth media in 500 ml matured coconut water. Then the preparation of C. pentandra extract solution at 20% and 30% concentration. And we patterned that to the study of Azuanida 2015. Afterwards, washing off tomato in water with 10% sodium hypochlorite to remove the fastidious microorganisms that might affect our research conduct. Then, spraying of different test solution to tomato 5 minutes before spraying of C. cocodes. Daily observation on the manifestation of signs of infection to tomato, temperature, and relative humidity. Then observations were recorded and documented for 15 days. Here is our findings. Findings showed that no infections were noted to 20% of seeds extract from day 1 until day 15. On the other hand, the third day until sixth day of incubation, a significant of 0.05 result were elucidated in terms of rate of infection, wherein 80% of infected fruits were maintained from third to sixth days. Moreover, the untreated were recorded to have 40% rise in infection from 60% to 100% from the third day to fourth day. As you can see on the figure, this is the figure for the infection rate of C. cocodes in tomato treated with C. pentandra seeds extract. You can see the 20% seeds and the 30% seeds in the control group. And as you can see on the 15th day, the 20% seeds were showed or elucidated higher significant on the effect of tomato or effect on the tomato anthracnose. On the first day, there is no sign of infection, but on the fourth to fifth day, the 30% seeds extract and the control group showed the higher infection rate of C. cocodes. This is the figure showing the infection rate of C. cocodes in tomato treated with C. pentandra fruits extract, the 20% fruits and the 30% fruits and the control group. On the first day of observation, there is no signs of infection. However, on the third to fifth day of observation, the control group and the 20% fruits extract elucidated a higher significant infection of Colatotrichum cocodes, while the 30% fruits extract showed 80% effectiveness on the C. cocodes. On the next figure, as you can see, here is the infection rate of C. cocodes in tomato treated with C. pentandra leaves extract. We prepared the 20% leaves extract, the 30% leaves extract, and the control group. As you can see again, just like the previous figures, on the first day up to second day, no infection rate were recorded. However, on the fourth to fifth day, it is the 30% leaves and the 20% leaves extract showed higher significant infection on the C. cocodes together with the control group until the last day of observation. For our conclusion, the findings revealed that seeds extract of silk cotton tree has the most antifungal activity among leaves and fruits extract. It also showed that at 20% concentration, the seeds extract contains the most antifungal activity as compared to 30% concentration of seeds, leaves, and fruits, and even to similar concentration of 20% leaves and 20% fruits extract. It was also disclosed that there is a significant difference between concentration and period of observation of silk cotton tree extract, as the 20% seeds extract elucidated its level of effectiveness as antifungal treatment to tomato anthracnose from day 3 of observation until day 15. And for the recommendation, To prevent the sea cockroach infestation that may result to profit loss in tomato, farmers and vendors may apply seeds extract of silk cotton tree at 20% concentration as part of pre-harvest and post-harvest practices. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Frias. And the last presenter for this session, may I call in Professor Dr. Arce Atibo. Dr. Atibo, please make your presentation.
I will be presenting my paper entitled Biomass from Agricultural Waste for Renewable Energy in the Philippines. The Philippines is predominantly an agricultural country with 47% of its 30 million hectares of land area devoted to agriculture. The country's agricultural lands are dedicated to the production of food grains, food crops, and non-food crops. Along the way, the production and processing of such crops produce tons of agricultural waste that can be used for renewable energy. Among various agricultural crops, rice, coconut, and sugarcane are the most significant contributors to biomass energy resources. This study considers agricultural waste in the Philippines from the byproducts of the three major crops, namely rice, coconut, and sugarcane. Biomass is considered as one of the key renewable energy resources, both at the small and large scale levels in the Philippines. However, despite the potential for agricultural waste as a source of renewable energy, only limited studies are done along this line. Such information is ironic to the fact that Philippines is an agricultural country. This undertaking therefore analyzes secondary data on the production of biomass as a renewable source of energy from agricultural waste in the Philippines. With the current situation of the country in terms of energy use, it is quite beneficial to use sources of renewable energy like biomass. This type of renewable energy can be considered sustainable, especially that it mostly comes from agricultural waste. In fact, 14% of the world's energy is provided for by biomass, not only in the developing countries but in industrial countries as well. Table 1 presents the biomass availability from the three major agricultural crops in the Philippines, namely rice, coconut, and sugarcane. As you can see in the third column, it shows the types of biomass per agricultural crops. For rice, it is categorized as rice hull and rice straw. For coconut, it is subdivided into the coconut husk, the shell, and the fronds. Whereas for sugarcane, it is subdivided into the bagasse and the trash. The staple food for millions of Filipinos is rice, which could explain why most agricultural lands in the country are devoted to rice. It is actually shown in the second column that around 4.2 million hectares of agricultural land is devoted to rice production. It is actually around 1.17 times bigger than coconut production areas, at 3.3 to 3.6 million hectares, and around 10 times larger than sugarcane production areas, which is around 380,000 to 480,000 hectares. Although the percentage of land utilization favors rice production, it yields the lowest biomass among the three. As you can see in the fourth column, rice production only yield around 1.95 to 2.14 tons per hectare, as compared to coconut, which is around 3.66 to 4.58 tons per hectare, where in fact sugarcane industrial countries as well. Table 1 presents the biomass availability from the three major crops in the Philippines, namely rice, coconut, and sugarcane. As you can see in the third column, it shows the types of biomass per agricultural crops. For rice, it is categorized as rice hull and rice straw. For coconut, it is subdivided into the coconut husk, the shell, and the fronds. Whereas for sugarcane, It is subdivided into the bagas and the trash. The staple food for millions of Filipinos is rice, which could explain why most agricultural lands in the country are devoted to rice. It is actually shown in the second column that around 4.2 million hectares of agricultural land is devoted to rice production. It is actually around 1.17 times bigger than coconut production areas, at 3.3 to 3.6 million hectares, and around 10 times larger than sugarcane production areas, which is around 380,000 to 480,000 hectares. Although the percentage of land utilization favors rice production, it yields the lowest biomass among the three. As you can see in the fourth column, rice production only yield around 1.95 to 2.14 tons per hectare, as compared to coconut, which is around 3.66 to 4.58 tons per hectare, where in fact sugarcane yields a very high yield of 29.5 to 31.6 tons per hectare. Even if sugarcane production is 10 times smaller than rice and 8.57 times smaller than coconut, sugarcane still yields the highest biomass per hectare. Among the 7 identified biomasses, as mentioned earlier, cane bagasse yields the highest volume per hectare at 15.2 to 15.8 tons per hectare, followed by sugarcane trash, which is around 14.3 to 15.8 tons per hectare, and coconut fronds at around 1.92 to 2.1 tons per hectare. The lowest yield is observed for rice hull at 0.95 ton per hectare. The total combined annual volume of all the biomasses range from 33 to 37 million tons. Now, Table 2 presents the electrical generation and power potential of agricultural waste based from the study of Tadeo in 2015, as cited by Caparino in 2018. Based on the study, the electrical generation was computed based on the averages from different sources, and that it is dependent on the biomass heating value and moisture content, as well as the electric efficiency of certain technologies. The power potential was based on a 320-day annual operation of the biomass plant. Data show that at a given volume, agricultural waste from coconut yield a higher electrical generation rate per kilogram than that of rice and sugarcane. Among all the plant biomass, cocoa shell yields the highest electrical generation at 1.758 kilowatt hour per kilogram, followed by cocoa husk at 1.398 kilowatt hour per kilogram, with sugarcane bagasse being the lowest at 0.316 kilowatt hour per kilogram. Comparing the plant biomass against animal biomass, which is represented by chicken manure and pig manure, data show that plant biomass has a higher electricity generation rate per kilogram than animal biomass. It is interesting to note that the lowest recorded data from plant biomass is still greater than animal biomass highest electric generator. Recorded power potential data is greater in animal biomass because of the higher initial volume of the said waste. This may show that plant biomass is better than animal biomass in terms of electrical generation on a per kilogram basis. Going now to Table 3. This table summarizes the cost of operation for rice hull and bagasse biomass plants. Data are taken from the study of the Society of the Advancement of Technology Management of the Philippines in 2001. This table shows different setups for biomass from rice hull and bagasse in a biodigester on various capacities. As you can see here, the rice hull biomass is represented with two capacities. The first one is 3 kilowatts, and the second one is 6 kilowatts. The bagasse biomass, the first one is with a capacity of 220 kilowatts, and the other one is a 94 kilowatt plant. And the biodigester, the commercial biogas digester of 18 kilowatt capacity and an elevated tank of 6 kilowatts. As you can see in the third column, investment-wise, using bagasse costs a lot compared to rice hull. The figures are based on various capacities. Thus, the best indicator to look at is the levelized cost per kilowatt hour to determine how agricultural waste fare to one another. Comparing the two aforementioned plant biomass, the rice and bagasse, the levelized cost per kilowatt hour is lower in bagasse than rice hull. In bagasse, it's around 1.82 pesos per kilowatt hour to around 1.95 pesos per kilowatt hour, compared to rice hull of around 2.98 pesos to 2.45 pesos kilowatt hour. Equating the result of plant biomass to biodigester, which is mainly fueled by animal biomass, the cost per kilowatt hour of biodigester is almost doubled compared to rice hull and almost triple in bagasse. Unfortunately, there is no available data for coconut biomass fuel plants. As for the conclusion, with the current situation of the country in terms of energy usage, it is quite beneficial to utilize sources of renewable energy like biomass. The Philippine government was not able to maximize the production of biomass from this waste, a source of renewable energy, to its fullest potential. And lastly, there is actually a need for further research and development on the use of agricultural waste in terms of energy production. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. Salamat po.
Thank you very much, Professor Aris Atibo, and thank you very much to all the presenters. So may I now open the floor and yield some queries or any inquiry to the presenters. May I now open? Anybody would like to throw questions or yield inquiry?
Sir, we got one question from Professor Sagar Kumar Ghosh. The question is, what is the amount of agricultural waste burning in open in Philippines, and what measures you are taking in the country?
Answer the question regarding the amount of agricultural waste burning in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Well, based on estimates by the Industrial Technology Development Institute of the Department of Science and Technology in the Philippines, around 250 kilograms of rice straw and 100 kilograms of rice hull are burned per ton of rice produced. Thus, this comes to a total of around 5 million, more than 5 million tons of rice straw and rice hull combined burned every year. That's actually the data that we gathered here in the Philippines. Around 5 million tons of rice straw and rice hull burned every year. For the other types of biomass, we still don't have initial data on that.
Okay. And what kind of measures you are taking in the country?
What are the bagasse utilization? Sorry.
Yeah, Dr. Naperi, can I interact?
Yes, Professor Goss, please.
Yeah, I know that there are a lot of burning of agro waste in Philippines, Thailand, India, and many other countries. So I want to know that there in Philippines, is there any specific rule to curb this open burning of agricultural waste and utilization of those either for generating energy or any other thing?
Yes, Professor Goff. In fact, the Philippine government has a law. Uh, we have a law calling burning of any kind is prohibited here in the Philippines. And there is a higher penalty for those violators who still conducted burning process of their wastage and their households. And especially burning rice straw is prohibited here in the Philippines.
Okay, okay, great. And the similar way, the Bagas, you have a number of energy recovery facility from Bagas and any
Yes,
support from government? Yeah, please
yes,
go ahead.
Mr. Professor Aris, would you like to explain further?
Hi, hello. The question was, what are the bagas utilization for recovery of energy and
Yeah,
any subsidy? Actually, as based on my presentation, there's really dirt in with regards to the utilization, with regards to the research on this matter. It's really been underutilized, although data shows that how the potential of the bagas and other, especially the bagas, but we're really underutilized, and it really needs a lot of government intervention in order to maximize the use of this agricultural waste.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Professor Goff, any other queries from the participants?
Now, sir, there is one question. I would like to request to kindly uh, present the chair summary and conclude the session within 10 minutes. And there is an announcement before we leave the session. I request all the delegates to open your camera to take a photograph altogether. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Goss. Thank you so much to all the presenters and participants to this special session in the Philippines. I would like now to make the summary. First, we have 6 presenters, and the first presenter was Miss Abogado. He presented the mycelia growth performance of pleurotusostreatus, volvariellavolvacea in common kitchen waste. This study focused on developing another medium in growing mushroom. They used coconut water instead of potato dextrose agar, which is very much expensive. You know, coconut water is almost free here in the Philippines and just being disposed frequently. But now, of this output, it added value to this coconut waste, water waste. The second presenter discussed about, presented by Dr. Ramona Ramirez. She discusses about advocating circular economy on Pili pulp oil isolation as income generating projects for Pili processing household in the Bicol region, Philippines. This is a research activity with an extension program which utilized the waste of Pili pulp to produce oil. You know, oil produced is the byproduct that is used as an ingredient in cosmetics, massage oil for wellness. It commands high price and a source of additional income to the household. The next presenter uh, is Miss Derry. She presented the mycelial growth performance of paddy straw mushrooms in banana waste. This study is utilizing wastage from the banana peeling, the leaves, and the stem, which usually considered as waste once the banana tree uh, is harvested here in the Philippines. But this study utilized those banana waste serving as medium in producing straw mushrooms. So another undertaking of producing byproduct out of wastage. And the fourth research presenter was Miss Cecilia Pacham. She presented the disaster risk reductions management awareness and preparedness in the selected public secondary school in Ginubatan, Albay. You know, the Albay province is prone to disaster, hence this study is most needed. And the result would serve as reference to indulge in future research and more focus on how to prevent risk reduction, especially risk produced by human waste, to contribute to circular economy. And then the next one was presented by Mr. Frias, the antifungal activity of fruits, leaves, and seeds extract of Sheba petraba against Colitarium cocoons. This is a research that utilizes fruits, leaves, and seeds of silk cotton, serving as antifungal substitute. Hence, conventional drugs is commonly high in cost. Since raw materials of silk coffee tree is abundant here in Bicol in the Philippines, and sometimes it turned only into waste, hence this utilization studies was made. And the last one was presented by Dr. Aris Atibo, the status of biomass utilizations from agricultural waste in the Philippines. This is an assessment of a main agricultural waste in the Philippines and its potential to generate power and reduce cost in the household through renewable energy. So to all, again, to all the presenters, to all the participants, I would like to convey my sincerest thanks to organizers headed by Professor Goss. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Alberto Naperi, the chairman of the Special Sessions for the Philippines, calling for the end of this session, and God bless us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your remarks. Now,
So much, Professor Naperi.
Thank you so much.